It is Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, and I can't believe I'm saying that. It's the Super Organizer Show, and I'm James Lott Jr., Super Organizer, and I cannot believe fall is what, tomorrow? I guess it's tomorrow, and then we're almost into October. That 2022 is almost over. I cannot believe it, but we are here, and we're here as we are every week, talking to amazing people, other than myself. Kidding. Such amazing people who are doing some great things, and right now, as you saw last week and what's happening, we're doing a book series, it seems like. People are putting books out. My book's right there, Small Steps Lead to Robbery, on top of my keyboard. But I am writing a new one, so I have one coming out next. But we have another book, and this was so funny. So this person, I have known of her for years, and I know of her for years. I actually have two guests. I'm saying I have two guests today. One will do most of the talking, but the other one is here. And I love her concept, and it's something that I wanted to do, which I've never shared with anybody before. I'm going to share it on the show with her. It's something that I've never told anybody else on the show. I'm so happy to have her book is out. It's called Ophelia Let's Get Organized. It is illustrated by Christine Purcell-Sacco, and it's written by my friend, professional organizer extraordinaire in crisis organization, and author also, Vickie Dellaquila. Hi, Vickie.
Hi, James. How are you? So happy to be here.
Same here. And we might be related, we found out. So there's some Lott sitting around in your family somewhere. So I'm related. I'll take that. I'm related to you, Vickie. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Those dimples. How are you?
I am good. I'm doing well here in Pittsburgh.
Yes, you are. We were just about that. We have the Pittsburgh connection, and I want to give a shout out. So I just saw that the Pittsburgh chapter ended. 22 years.
Yes, we just didn't have enough, volunteers, but it's sad. But we're going to still get together socially.
Yeah. Well, I want to give. That's my chapter. I want to give a special shout out to all the ladies and gentlemen from the chapter. I spoke there many years ago. They invited me when I was there, but they've all been super nice to me. And I'm friends with still like Jill. I'm friends with so many people from that chapter. That's my home chapter. Even though I'm in LA, Pittsburgh's my home chapter also.
Back in the burg.
Exactly. Hello. We went to Bob Evans. They took me to Bob Evans for dinner. And remember, I came in that one time and I was like, I want Bob Evans. That's what I wanted. And they actually acquiesced. But I want to give a shout out to them and all the amazing work that you guys did for 22 years. I mean, it's an amazing feat. So I got a little sad. Sorry, go ahead, Vickie.
It's sad, but sometimes things have to happen.
Yep.
Move on.
And they're still there to organize for you. They're still out there.
The organizers are still here. We just don't have an official chapter, but we're still all here.
Yes, they're still here. Now, can we meet Miss Ophelia, please?
Well, yes,
Hello.
There she is. Oh,
hi, Miss Ophelia.
My glasses need straightened.
That's how happens with my glasses too. Are always like this sometimes, so I understand. It's nice to meet you. So this is Ophelia. So we're going to talk about her, where she comes from, the whole thing. So it's nice to meet you both. So before we do that, I do my thanks and gratitude. I always do. Sure. So my thanks and gratitude today actually is going to center around grandparents, grandmothers, and kids, because this book's about kids. I want to give shout outs to, I have no grandparents left, so I want to give all shout out to all my grandmothers and grandfathers who came before me. And two of them were super neat and tidy. So they're very, I can see where I get it from. They were very neat and things were in order, plastic on the couches, everything was like, the kitchens were the ad cabinets were all in order.
Oh,
so the grandmother Lott and the grandmother and grandma Russian, everybody, you guys were all my inspirations. And so all my grandchildren. I have 4 and a 5th one on the way in January. I know it's the best. It's the best. It's the best. I'm getting poor because I'm spoiling them to death. But yes, I have 4 grandchildren. So I want to give shout outs to Zayden, Rylan, Scarlett, Trenton, and soon to be Preston, who's coming in January. So shout out to all of them. So to all the kids in the world, you can't get organized. It's about that too.
That's very true.
It is. So that's my thanks and gratitude just for everybody out there for that. And for all of you who are here actually watching this or listening to this program. Almost 8 years running. Can do this.
I know. Congratulations. That's wonderful.
I know. Heading towards 400th episode. I can't believe.
I saw that. That is great. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
Oh, you were on long time. You were on a long time ago. She's on she's on an episode earlier. So from her other book, which is another story. But we're gonna focus on Ophelia. So first of all, Ophelia, and so she's named after your grandmother, correct?
She is named after my lovely grandmother, Ophelia.
Yes.
And she also had plastic on her couches too.
Yes. Yes. You know how it is, girl. I'm like, okay, sure. Not on my couches, but sure on theirs.
No, not on mine, but of the time period.
Yes,
Many
very much
grandmothers
so.
had that. She was a wonderful grandmother, and I had a wonderful granddaddy too. But they were wonderful. And I wanted to honor my grandmother in a way. And my grandparents were from El Paso. I was born in El Paso, my mom. And I was coming back from El Paso one day. This was 6 years ago. And because I helped with my mom, she was in a nursing home.
Oh, yeah.
And I was coming home and I thought, boy, I'd like to do something with my business. And then I was like thinking about my grandmother, and I thought, why don't I do something with Ophelia's name? And why don't I come up with something? So I came up with a doll, and I trademarked her, and she's a little trademark doll. She's 5 years old, 5 years old. And then I started writing the book on Ophelia.
Wait, here's my question. So what was the difference between just not naming your business after your grandmother versus making a doll? I mean, it's very interesting. Very interesting. You didn't go, well, I'll honor my grandma this way. I'll make the business. Ophelia's organized or whatever. You decided to actually legitly like a doll.
Yeah, she's actually a doll. Hopefully there'll be little Ophelia's eventually.
I want one.
She's been to the seamstress. Her name is Tatiana, actually, and Tatiana is working on making a little bit more of Ophelia and even some extra clothes. She's getting styled. She's getting styled. She has a stylist, That's all there is to it. She has a stylist.
It's going Hollywood now. Yes.
Yeah, so she's kind of my official mascot, but she has her own Facebook page, or excuse me, website, OpheliaTheOrganizer.com.
Which we'll put in the description.
Yeah, and of course Facebook and Instagram too.
But I want to talk about your grandmother a little bit, because why that grandmother? What was it about her that just stuck with you so much?
She was so nice. I lived in Wisconsin and would go to see her in Texas, so I didn't get to see her that often.
You lived everywhere, girl. As I know you all these years, you've been all over the place.
I have been. But she was so nice. She'd do anything. She'd play games. I remember going to see Jaws when I was 13 with my grandmother, and everybody in the theater screaming, "Oh my God!" And she just sat there calmly.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah. So she was just a great person. She really was. She was a lovely person.
So you guys were very close. And I love the name Ophelia. And so do you know where she got her name from?
Yeah, it's been in my family for hundreds of years. There has been, I didn't even know this, but my aunt told me it. It comes from Shakespeare, from the play Hamlet, I believe. Ophelia's in it. And just the name, so every family has named somebody Ophelia. Now, my grandmother loved her name, but other people thought that's a ridiculous name. But my granddaddy used to call her O. I
kind of like that though. O.
I know. I like the O.
Oh. Hey, O. I like that. So now, for years, they said for the last 6-7 years, she's been a doll action, but now you decided to do a book. So what was the impetus in finally getting the book together?
I've been wanting to do it for a long time. And finally, I just decided, okay, I'm hoping to write more. Okay. And, it's about helping kids get organized, but it's also about, you don't have to do everything perfectly. You're going to do it the best you can. And in the book, it's about a little girl named Lucy and her brother Sam, and they live with their dad. There's no mom mentioned or anybody mentioned, so we don't know if Lucy and Sam, if their mom died, if dad has a partner, if dad's partner's not around, if they're divorced. Because I was raised by my dad. My parents were divorced, and I did not have a mother in my life. So I thought, everybody has a different family. So why can't this resonate with some other kids who might be in the same situation? Because that's one thing I wanted to include. Not everybody has this Brady Bunch family. Although I love the Brady Bunch house. I want to go see it.
Me too. I love it. I saw it. I love it. It's out here in LA. I love it. But,
they don't. Everybody does not have that.
Yeah.
And, you can be in an apartment, live in a house, wherever you live and what your family situation is, organization can help you. So that's what.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I said I'm loving. I'm just backpack. I love that you did that, because there are a lot of I know several single fathers actually. So I love that you leave that open to that interpretation. It could be a single father. It could be a father with a partner, which of course makes me happy. Of course, that too. But I would say there's a lot of fathers who are involved in raising their children. I was
Mhm.
very involved in raising my daughters. I was very involved. I'm just saying and so I'm glad that you decided to take something from your own life and represent it. That's why we do this. That's why we create content.
Yeah.
Make
And they
it
could
more
be adopted. We don't know because they don't look like their dad. If you notice, they don't look like dad at all. So we don't know.
I like that. I like that part. How'd you come up with the actual story? Because you could have went any direction. You could have went strictly. Let me show you how to organize. Let me show you. It's not, and that's not the kind of book. It's just kind of like
No, I didn't want anybody yelling at a kid. I mean, dad does get frustrated because Lucy is late, usually for soccer practice, and she can't find things. And it starts out that she can't find her soccer shoe, and they're running late. And her brother gets mad at her, who's kind of neat and doesn't lose things. And so I just thought, I want to make it so that Lucy can get help without getting this, boy, your room's just a mess kind of thing. So she starts to get real sad, and all of a sudden Ophelia pops out of her pile of clothes and just starts to talk to her about it. And Ophelia tells her, I used to be disorganized too, and I still have problems, because we don't need that silliness, as you know, as a professional organizer, the perfection business that doesn't exist.
I want you to say it so loud that people in the back of the rows can hear you. I've eliminated that word or any alliteration from my vocabulary when dealing with clients or when we're speaking to people, because you do speaking engagements like I do. Word perfect, perfection, perfecto, any language I take it out because they always associate us with that.
I know they do. I bet your house is perfect.
Right.
No.
Nope. It's in order, and I know where everything is. But it's not perfect. And I think that's something that we have to break that down, because a lot of folks get scared and don't even try to get organized. And, well, I'm not perfect, so I can't do what you do. I can't be what you are.
Exactly. And I think with Ophelia, what she does is talk about with Lucy, tiny task by tiny task can help you just a little bit at a time. And she helps her tiny task by tiny task and getting organized. And she, at the end, is just like, well, I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. And she said, of course you can. So she gives her a little Ophelia, just a reminder. And in the end of the book, there's actually a tiny task list for the child to think about, okay, what tiny task do I need to do this? And just to help them, remind them that it is not about perfection. It is about doing the best you can to try to live, with more organization in your life. It's not about
and you can start the kids, because I put out years ago. I put out a checklist. It was a chore checklist by age. It was super popular. It went viral, and people were like, "I didn't know you could actually." I go, "Well, there's age appropriate things you start teaching kids to do in ways that are fun." We know, you and I know this obviously, but as a lot of the parents I worked with had no idea. They're like, "I can ask them to do that." I'm like, a lot of times they want to do that. Like, let them put the dishes in the dishwasher. Show them how to do it. And it's low enough for them. It's not like they have to reach anywhere, and do anything crazy, or let them tell them to pick something off the table or pick their clothes off the floor and put it in a bin. Like, you can teach them that stuff. It's all right. It's all you can teach kids all that stuff.
Yeah, I know. I faced the same thing with other people too, with their children. Well, he's only 10. Can he do that? Yes, he most certainly can. You can start them a lot younger than that, because that's how they learn. That's how they learn, by starting to do this and start to have the boundaries of, you cannot leave all your toys out or whatever it is. They have to have that, or it's going to take them longer to learn, because you can teach them as an adult, but it's harder.
Yeah, it is. Like anything, start as a kid, easier to absorb as an adult. Yes. So Ophelia, Let's Get Organized. What is the age range you think is best for the book?
4 to 8. Okay. 4 to 8. My little granddaughter, one of them's 3.5. And she does love it, because one day she said to me, "My room is topsy-turvy, Gigi."
I love it. Oh, I love it.
So, but 4 to 8, I would say. I'm hoping to write more and bring in more things like different families, of course. I don't know, maybe 2 moms, maybe 2 dads. I don't really know. But in a child that maybe has more challenges, like ADHD, something like that, because so many kids, face different challenges. Definitely.
I was going to ask you that, because that's one of your specialties, client organization, and we love the folks over at that organization. We love them over there. But I was saying, because I know some kids who have a hard time focusing,
Yes.
So I guess that'd be a nice challenge for a book for you to write, to have to show how to get folk out. Ophelia can show them how to focus, or how
She
to.
can. Yes, she can, because it is hard. I mean, they really, and especially if the child has not had any strategies in their life to help them, because they have to have strategies to help them.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, as an organizer, anybody with any kind of challenges, especially ADHD, they really need the challenges. My brother, he's 59 and he has ADHD, and he was that kid, you know, because of his age, just like us, you know, at the time period, you're lazy and you're stupid. That's what you are. You know,
Thank God language has changed, and people think.
Thank God, because, you know, it really has impacted his life, major, as many adults. I mean, I work with so many adults that get diagnosed later in life in their 60s, you know, and they're like, hey, you know what? You have ADHD or ADD.
Yeah. And they're like, wow, like, you know, the world opens up suddenly, because they're like, oh, well, I mean, I had friends I knew who didn't know they were dyslexic at our age group.
Yes.
And then they got older and got diagnosed, and they opened a whole world. So like, oh, now I get it. I get why. Or I have another friend who was autistic. We didn't find he was on the spectrum until he was an adult. They didn't have that back when we were kids, and that stuff was really around.
It opens you. That's what happened to my brother. He's like, click, now I get it, because he didn't know. He didn't know. And myself too, it's not diagnosed, but I know I have a learning disorder, the exact same ones as my brother and my sister, but none of us are diagnosed. But when I read, when I write, I will miss words and not write them in the sentence. I don't know what it's called, but my brother and my sister have the same exact thing. So my husband always has to read stuff over, because he's like, you're missing a few words here.
How funny is that? Interesting. Okay, interesting. Wait, are you also have the twins in your family?
Yeah. The one with ADHD, they're identical twins. They're a year and a half younger than me. Let me just say, no picnic growing up with identical twins.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was like, I'm like, wow, that was a very. I remember you telling me that a long time ago. So that must be very interesting. Yes.
Yes.
But I like that. Our age group, we didn't have a lot of that stuff. So you were name called, or people would diagnose you this way. Well, you're just lazy, or you're just stupid. You want mountain, just do this job, you'll be fine. Don't worry, don't try any harder. And it's like, oh my God.
Try harder. Or, you know, kids who face other challenges like depression or anything like that. Again, just go off the couch. Thank God.
Walking off. What about things get walking off? Hand up, walking off. Like, I can't walk off depression.
No, I mean, at least it's a little bit better. It's still a long way to go, but it's better.
Yeah, no, it's true. So 4 to 8, because from my friends who do early childhood development, and of course, a lot of things I've heard, personalities are formed by the age of 7. They say a lot of times he's like 7 or 8. So I guess for you, that'd be a great way to get this in there, to get them formed as part of their lives, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, starting little as a toddler, you know, starting to have a fun picking up your toys and putting them in a bin.
Yeah.
That they want that. They want boundaries. They want, you know, they want it, structure.
No, I'm glad you said that. I would say a lot of parents, sometimes new parents talk to, I go, no. Kids actually, they may not know it always, but they do want it. They want to know how far they can go, how far they don't have to go. They want to know if someone's going to be there on the perimeter, so to speak, of where it is, that you're going to be right there. They need to know that if I do this, I can get in trouble. If I don't do this, I can get something fun. Like, they need to know all that stuff. You're right. They do want it. Kids want all that stuff. They make fun of it. Right?
They may not know it, like you said. They might not even know that's what they want, but they do want it. They do. It helps them just, you know, be able to get through life easier then.
Yeah. So I want to share with you guys. I don't share with anybody else out there. In the almost 400 episodes I've ever done the show, I was trying to find. I can't find it. One day I'll find it and share with you guys. I didn't find it in time. So when I started my business 13 years ago, I wanted to have kind of mascots, also myself, and dolls myself. And I had a female designer create Ollie the Organizer and Samantha the Sorter, and they were cute. And I know I put them away somewhere. I just don't know. Here's as an organizer. I mean, I put them away. I put them away on purpose, like, because they were just. It was like artifacts. Like, I'm just giving these couple of things somewhere that one day I'll pull out. But I was trying to find it fast as I could. But I wanted to start some. I was going to do a comic strip. I was going to do a book. I look at stuff, and I just hadn't done it. So I applaud you with Ophelia because I never followed through with it. I don't even know if this girl's still around that I used to work with. I'm telling you, this 13 years ago. But I love that idea of talking to kids and teenagers and preteens. We talk to adults, we talk to college age, we get that. Even high school, we kind of got that covered too. But that's why I love about this book, Ophelia Let's Get Organized, because it's about starting them young.
Yes.
And just showing them the value of themselves, valuing their space. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I think you should get Ollie the organizer and Sam. Did you say Sam
Samantha the sorter?
I think they should come out and meet Ophelia.
I know. We had a little crossover episode. I love that.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
You never know. You might just be like, "That's it. I'm getting them out."
But you know me, I do a lot of stuff. I probably would put it. I put that together. You know me, I'll put it together in a second. But reading this book, it reminded me of them. I go, God, I've never really. It's been years since I thought about them, and I'm like, I can always get a new designer and
right.
But I was like, I just love this idea because kids can relate to characters, to dolls, it's this book for boys and girls.
Absolutely. Ophelia definitely can help a little boy, just like a little girl. It doesn't matter. One thing, there is some pink in the book, and I kind of wish I had told my illustrator, no pink.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? Pink's a great color for boys and girls too.
It is.
It doesn't matter.
I had some pink shorts on the other day. Somebody liked them. I said, thank you.
All right.
But I know what you mean. And I'm assuming what you mean is like assigning colors for genders.
Yes, gender colors. Yeah, that kind of silly thing.
I agree.
But you know what? Then again, sometimes people really kind of realize that, that it's not that way anymore.
Yeah,
people are green, yellow, whatever. It doesn't matter. Pink for boys.
I've gone to several baby showers where the colors have not been red, blue, or pink.
Me too.
They were like yellows or oranges or greens.
Yes.
Colors, very different.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So yeah, I think that's a lot of it. But I think you're right, though. There isn't enough for children out there.
There isn't. I see stuff for college age, high school, even some school age later, which I said there really definitely is. I think Vickie agrees with me. There definitely is an age thing. You can't just throw all this stuff on a 5-year-old. You do on a 9-year-old. It can be a little different.
I agree. There just isn't a whole lot out there. I mean, people work with children, of course, but I think there needs to be more fun things for kids, and I think she can be fun for kids.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I said the book is Ophelia Let's Get Organized. I love him. I want to give a shout out to Christine Purcell-Sacco. How'd you find her?
I actually found her through the Children's, Society of Children's Writers and Illustrators. It's an international organization, and there's a Pittsburgh chapter. And I found her. She was a former art teacher and just started. This is her first children's book. She does a lot of drawings and paintings of houses that people live in. And they're really nice. And I just, she resonated with me with Ophelia because I told her exactly what I wanted because I knew what I wanted on each page. I knew she wanted to be going on a scooter. I knew that she had to have that scooter, that red scooter.
That's so funny, right?
Yeah, she had to have the red scooter and her helmet and everything. I mean, that's the way it is. But she's very talented, and she did a great job. She was easy to work with, great job. Because writing the children's book is definitely different than writing a regular book. Much different. I mean, on my other book, certainly all the challenges with that, but the children's book is much different. Much different.
I'm sure. And tell people what your other book is, because we talked about all this years ago.
Don't Toss My Memories in the Trash.
I love that title. I love that title.
Downsize, Organize, and Move. And you know what? I wrote it in 2007, redid it in 2017, and it's still out there.
Oh my God.
I know.
It's good. It's a good book. I read it. It's a good book. I talked about it. It's a good book.
Yeah, I made it short intentionally. It's stories of people I've worked with that their names change, of course, and the different scenarios. I'm never leaving my home. I fell down and broke my hip. Now I have to, all those kinds of stories. And ICD actually uses as one of their required books for their aging certificate. Yeah, thank you.
Love the folks at ICD. Love the ladies over there. Yes. They've always supported my career, so I love them. That's fine. That's great. That's good. So yeah, I just love that title. It's a great title, but it's a good book. So I'm not surprised. the cream rises to the top and it stays up there. It does. It does.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I mean, I think it's just, because it's short, but not too short, but long enough that I get comments from people, both things, like adult children that thank God this book is there, or the person is like, I'm glad I read it because I thought I'd never think about moving. Now I look at other people in this book and I was like, that's me.
Now, I just want to ask you, just as we start to wrap up, so how long have you been in this business now?
This is my 20th year. It'll be 20 years in November. Thank you. I know. I can't even believe it. I can't believe it. It's been that long.
And because this is such a young industry. We're talking like 40 years old, like maybe less than that. Okay. So I've been, like I said, it's 13 years for me, which is weird. Also, like that's.
Yeah, that's great. Well, here we go. Here you go, James. Here you go.
Thank you, Ophelia. Thank you, Ophelia, girl. I had no idea when I started. No. But I mean, it's just kind of, it's like, wow, because we're in the trenches just doing it. We're always like to the next event or the next client or the next event or the next client. I know you're like, we're just doing, or taking our next class or doing this over here. Like, so, but you look back at 20 years, what is one thing that just kind of sticks out for you?
I think for me, I love my clients. I've switched to virtual now. I do only virtual organize, but I almost always work with people challenged by chronic disorganization. That's probably 99% of my clients. And I have to say, moving forward, just watching a client move forward, it doesn't even have to be a lot, just something moving forward. Movement is just such a celebration when you see that. And, I've had a couple of clients say, you've changed my life. And that's just like, wow, when you hear that, it's the best to hear something like that. It really is.
I'm with you on that one. That, to me, out of anything else, I mean, yeah, money's fine, all stuff's great, but it's the people. And when you see their lives really have changed for the better, there's no other high from that. It's a natural high. There's no other high from that.
No.
Wow. It's something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I worked with somebody years ago when I first started, and then called again, like, 12, 13 years later. And she said, I still remember what you told me in my closet. I was like, you do? I was like, that's great.
Wait, do they do? I mean, I'm finding out too. I have some early clients I'm not with anymore, but we see each other online, and everybody's online now. Yeah. Hello, James. I can hear your mouth telling me about this closet. And I'm like, oh, I see. I'm glad I'm in there, aren't I? And so we do make a difference. We do.
It does. And I guess that's what it is, making a difference in somebody's life, and I've always worked in people-based.
Me too.
Yeah, I've worked in nursing and social services.
Same here.
Same here. But, I never worked in corporate America. And I guess from everybody says, thank God you didn't. Yes. But, I sometimes I think like, well, this industry, maybe doesn't pay as well as like corporate America, but at least I can leave the earth knowing I helped somebody.
That's how I feel. I'd rather make less money. I worked in corporate America for a minute. That was not for me. I did not like that. I felt like I was just pushing papers for the man. I didn't know who the man was. I was pushing it for him. And I was getting paid very well, but it was not my passion. This is something. You realize you've created this whole world that was not here 20 years ago for yourself. We're doing jobs that were not out there 20 years ago or 13 years ago. Oh, gosh, so that to me is where we win. That's where we win.
Yeah, look at your show. That wasn't live 20 years ago. There wasn't anything like that.
No, it was nothing. I mean, and this Zoom stuff, this was nothing, 13 or 20 years ago. I mean, like it's, you and I are part of something that, really this industry, we really came out. The ladies who founded it, back in the 80s, who came together and was like, we need to help organize the world, and how vast our industry is. It's not just one thing or two things. It's not just Marie Kondo. It's not just the home edits. It's not just hoarders. It's a lot of stuff in between and on the side and over there. And it's like, we have such amazing, I say it all the time on the show. And you guys all know this, how much I love organizing and talking about it. But it's just that we have so many people doing so many amazing, intricate things in our business.
I agree. I mean, there's so many, when new organizers start, sometimes they're just, I was at the Container Store a couple of weeks ago. They had an event for organizers, and these two young women, young, I'm 60. I'm 60 years old.
I'm 53, so I understand. I understand.
And they were, I think they're cousins actually. And they had their business like for 6 months and they were doing really great and they were doing all this stuff. And I said, well, it's great. I'm glad to see you guys moving forward because, it's just a different world now. So different. And I just want to shake a shout out the Container Store. They took my book in Pittsburgh, the Container Store, and it's going to the regional manager. So let's hope it goes higher.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Okay. Good.
Loved Ophelia. So let's hope they don't have children's book at the Container Store. They could use it.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you, Container. Yes, definitely. Let's give them a shout out for being so generous. That's great.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm sorry.
You also, what's that?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you see so many new young organizers that it's so great to see them too. They're not like, I'm an office organizer in some business suit or something. You know what I mean? I love when I see a young guy or girl with green hair, or
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know tattoos.
Right.
Yes, I get it.
Right. Not looking like what used to be 30 years ago or 25 years ago.
Well, girl, when I came into the business, I know I'm like nobody else. I know I did. I did it. Big old black man with deep voice. I know I stand out completely in the business. But I know what you mean. And that's kind of thing like any business, you have to evolve and grow and change. And language is changing. People change their language or their title. I mean, I love all that. That's just we're evolving. And the organizers have to be a housewife who happens to do this. It could be anybody who happens to do this.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I'm so glad that we've moved away from this, or I still hear it sometimes here in Pittsburgh. Oh, you clean. No. No. That would be a cleaning company.
I did a show on here not too long ago. I forgot who was with. We were like, let's explain to folks that there are housekeeper and cleaners, and then there are organizers. It is two different things, and not everybody who can clean well can organize well. Not everybody who can organize well can clean well. It's just two. Some can do both, but
different industries. Yeah, way too different industries.
Because I don't know about you, girl, but there were times over the years where they thought, why am I a housekeeper to organize the linen closet? And then it didn't work. And so they hire me. Like I try using, whoever it was, and they just threw stuff in there, or I wasn't organized. I'm like, they're not an organizer. They're a cleaner. Right. They washed your towels and they kind of folded them, but they didn't think of the best way to put them in here. They put the towels way up there and you're 5'2". Like they didn't think they had to do all that stuff. There's things that we have to think about as organized. When we're organizing, we have to think of so many things having our back of our brains in terms of even organizing a shelf. There's so many different things we have to come up with and keep in mind while we're doing it. And that's like, what is the client's height? What can they do? Mobility? Where is it? I mean, there's so many things we have to do it while smiling and looking calm and effortless. So it's like a puzzle, like Tetris, like a puzzle. But I mean, but we're not just coming in here and and whatever. It's like, no, there's methods to all the different madnesses that we come up with for you guys so your lives are better.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is people are realizing education for professional organizers, like any other industry, and the certifications and all those things, it makes you a better organizer.
Yes.
And that has changed too. That has changed, where some people specialize in whatever, moving or, whatever it is.
Yeah, there are folks who are paper organizer specialists and email and media organizing specialists. I mean, seriously, there's a need for everything.
There is. I can tell you, somebody could do great in Pittsburgh if they would move here and just go to retirement communities and take pictures off phones for seniors.
That's so funny, and she's right. This happened here in LA. You're right. It's so funny.
Is it anywhere? But I can tell you, Allegheny County has the second highest population of people over 65. You could do well.
That is hilarious. Okay, moving back. Okay. That's
what I mean. There's that whole world of digital organization. Yeah. It's huge. It's huge.
It is huge. It does well here in California. It does very well here in Los Angeles. Very well, Los Angeles.
I bet
I have friends who work for the studios out here. I mean, it's. You're right. Digital organization is a big deal. And virtual right now is. I have gotten rid of a lot of my in-house now. I have a few. There's a couple left to keep me kind of going. but I'm doing more instruction and teaching and things like I'm doing more of that and more of this media organizing stuff.
Yeah.
As you know, I said I'm old now and my knees aren't the same anymore, and that's okay, kids. I'm okay. And it took me a minute, Vickie. It took me a minute. I'm a man, so of course I had to fight it through a little bit, get hurt a couple times. Women are smarter than we are, so I was like, no, I'm gonna keep going. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Stop fighting it, James. Stop fighting it. Just like have a couple of clients you go to every once in a while, do it in person. But yeah, just switch over to something else. And so now,
I'm the same way. I'm 60.
Yeah.
I'm 60. I don't have a big crew of people. I used to have a lot of subcontractors. I had one employee who was the best ever employee, I'd have to say. And she had to get pregnant and have twins. What was she thinking?
How dare she?
I know. She worked for me for 4
twins.
years. I don't have twins yet. She could have brought them with her.
One on each side. Just keep going.
Yeah. But, same thing. Age, we're always talking about this, in our industry, people age. And you can't do some of this physical work. I mean, you can, but, it's going to kill you after a while. So you have to just, switch to what works. And for me, I also run clutter support group classes with people, and I make them small intentionally so I can spend some time with them. And a lot of people, I always say, they dip their toe that way, and then they go to virtual organizing.
Oh, that's the entryway. That's smart.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people. Not all, but a lot.
I know what you mean, though. But that is a safe space to go first.
It is.
Get out there and go, you know what? We've got to talk it out, of course. And then now I'm ready to, okay.
There you go.
See, we're all thinking. That's the thing. We're always thinking for you guys. We're out there for all the folks who watch, listen to this show, who aren't organizers. We're here for you. That's the whole point. We're all over the country. We're all here all over the world.
And, virtual organizing even before the pandemic, but if you have some challenges and you don't want somebody in your home, but you need help, it works so well for so many people. Because when I started it a long time ago, but I didn't really get into it too much until a few years ago. And I was just like, people are like, I don't want you in my house, but I want you on my screen helping me.
Yes. I get that.
It works really well for a lot of people. And I think it's just going to continue to grow, the virtual world.
I agree. It's also going to help also for folks who they may meet you live in the same city. And like we're here in Southern California, everything's so spread out.
Yes.
And our gas was up to $7 a gallon at one point. So, I mean, I'll tell you, it's expensive to live here, girl. It's expensive to live here.
Yes.
People, one bedroom.
That house in Pittsburgh, James.
I sold it. It looks like it survived Los Angeles. That's one reason why I sold it. I was like, I had to take some stock of my life. But I wish I kept the house in Pittsburgh. It was cheap to have it. Trust me, folks. I had it for 20 years. It was cheap to have that house. Over on in Troy Hill. I love that place. My A-frame row house. But it's I think us too, it saves us on overhead of a place, a brick and mortar place, also travel and gas, and just time management on some level. It gives you a chance, and the client feels safer because they're always embarrassed when you're actually in their space. So you're not really in it. You're there, but you're not there.
Yeah. I agree. And I geographically does not bound you here. I mean, I have clients in California. I have clients other places, around the country. And here, how spread out.
I was going to
say, especially in the rural areas, they don't have anybody.
Yeah. I was just thinking where I lived. So if you went the back way out to McKnight Road and all that out there, you have Cranberry, Ross Township, all that out there. That's not for me, it's like almost around the corner, but it's not really around the corner. If you have to go through snow or all those things, then you go the other direction, you have Grafton, all that over there. You got Penn over there. Then you go down to Station Square, you got that all over there. It makes it War Streets. There's lots of places. I'm not missing everything all of a sudden. All these places in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's kind of spread out too. I mean, and to get in and out of Pittsburgh, if you come from one direction, like from the airport, it's just one tunnel, folks.
One tunnel.
That kills me. I used to fly in. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Let's back it up. One tunnel. And you come up to the tunnel and you see all the rivers, the beautiful bridge. I miss my bridges. I'm sad our Steelers lost on Sunday. Don't get me started. I'm like, come on.
Don't get you started. That's right. You bleed black and gold, don't you, Jim?
I do. Like, we started. I was like, Patriots, really? We started. Another story. But no, but it's but any kind of, it's a good point. Any kind of place that's rural or spread out, virtual probably is your best bet. And I think, and so, but you're right. It was organizers were already having virtual organizing before the pandemic. You have to know that. Other companies, other industries switched to virtual because of the pandemic. We were already, once again, is ahead of the game. It was already happening. Like I said, she was doing it for years. And so now a lot of them just eased right into it. For me, I was doing virtual organizing. I couldn't organize for a year and a half. Because in LA, COVID was so rampant here. It was so bad in LA. We couldn't, everybody knew had it. I didn't get it so far. I'm one of those no vids. I didn't get it so far.
Oh, good.
But everybody else got it around me. So it's like I couldn't even go anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. So I know a lot of organizers who just kind of left their business because they just couldn't, they didn't have that way or didn't do that way. So it's like, but our industry was already ahead of the game. They offered that already. So that was
Sheila Delson, you know Sheila?
Yes, Sheila, yeah.
She actually has, because I went through the course a long time ago and they did it again, a certification in virtual organizing.
Yes, that's right.
She's been doing virtual organizing probably 15 years, I'd say.
Yeah, long time.
And it's a great course. But again, here we go. The industry revolves again. Here's certification. All those sorts of things. There's education, and that's also, you need to get CUs to keep your certification. So it just keeps evolving for different people, because there's so many different people.
I agree. Well, I can talk to you further, but thank you, Miss Vickie Dellaquila and Miss Ophelia, for your book. It's called Let's Get Organized, and I'll put all the information in the links below, everything below. Where can I get this book?
You can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, any online media, and it is also on OpheliaTheOrganizer.com.
Which I'll put that all in the thing there. Thank you, both of you. Thank you, Miss Ophelia, for being on the show today. Thank you, Miss Vickie. Oh, I got a little hand. Okay. Thank you, Miss Vickie. I'm James Lott Jr., of course, where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms, even on TikTok. I have my series, How to Get Super Organized Under a Minute. I think I'm on episode 100 and something, but check those out, plus my other shenanigans on there. Plus, I'm also on Patreon, patreon.com/James Lott Jr. I'm going to begin giving out some organizing tips on there too. The fans asked for it, so I'm going to give it to you. But patreon.com/James Lott Jr. It's like I have 3 tiers of organization of stuff on there. So check that out. And of course, the show, which is everywhere you want to be. So while you're driving down the street or on the train, going to work, or at the gym or walking the dog, you can listen to us on any audio streaming service platform. That's from Spotify to iHeartRadio to Google, Apple, Deezer, all of those. Just go Super Organizer Show, you'll find it. And then, of course, the OG on YouTube, JLJ Media, my online network, where I have over 50 shows for you to choose from. Anything from Star Wars to the soap operas and everything in between. I'm watching Yellowstone right now, so I'm going to do a little Yellowstone. So I love the show. Oh, my God, it's so good.
I love that show.
Oh, I just started it, girl. Kevin Costner's the bomb. That's like I say, Kevin Costner's the bomb. So I'm doing that show. And also I'm watching Only Murders in the Building on Hulu, which is the best. The best shows. Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. The best. I'm just on that. But anyway, so all those are on my channel, JLJ Media, of course. The SOS Show is on Facebook and on Twitter. So it's SOS Shows on Facebook and Twitter. And again, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, get organized, and make your life better.